It's time now for a look at the latest in local news. In the news, defense attorney Adrienne Browning and her client John Yonkowski had their preliminary hearing in Wayne County Court Monday, with Magistrate Judge Chrissy Boyles officiating. The low standard for the state to just show reasonable cause while the case should be proceeding to trial. The judge, after listening to the evidence presented Monday, has ruled in favor of the state, and John Yonkowski remains in jail. And his attorney Adrienne Browning tells WIFO-FM that the next step will once again seek a bond in the case. The bond has been denied twice, and her client remains in jail. On Monday in court, the state brought to the stand the lead investigator in the case, Detective Brad Kickletter. He talked about the undercover operation that took place here in Jesup. He says it all began as a drug investigation, as they had reports of large amounts of cocaine being distributed at 3 different drinking establishments in Wayne County: the Chop House, the VFW, and Sidetracks Bar. Kickletter told of the 3 undercover agents used in the operation, 2 female undercover agents and a male undercover agent. He gave their names and says the female officer that was drugged by defendant John Yonkowski was wearing a video cam with audio and video, and the Kickletter and several other officers were at a different location monitoring what was taking place that night inside the Chop House. Kickletter says it was Yonkowski who purchased the drink, and it was John Yonkowski who drugged their drink for the undercover agent. Kickletter says they could tell that the undercover agent was acting differently after she took the drink, and that she was under the influence, but that she did go to the VFW afterwards and had another drink, but went home to her significant other. As they stated, it was the significant other person who took her to the hospital, where they found an illegal drug in her system. Kickletter testified that the same drug found in her system was found in the defendant's truck that evening. Since John Yonkowski's arrest, Kickletter says 12 women have come forward with statements that Yonkowski drugged them, had inappropriate relationships with them. Kickletter named 2 women who claimed they were raped by Yonkowski, but WIFO's policy is that we don't release names of rape victims, so we're not reporting the names given in court on Monday. The 2 rape cases, however, named by Kickletter in court, happened 15 years ago and 9 years ago, and no one was ever arrested or charged in those cases. Defense attorney Adrienne Browning pushed for the names of the other 10 women who also have made statements against John Yonkowski, but those names were not given in court on Monday. Kickletter says all 12 women have given sworn statements to law enforcement, stating consistent in what has been charged with the undercover investigation. On cross, Browning asked Kickletter if the hospital gave him the undercover agent's alcohol level that night. As Kickletter admits, the undercover agent purchased 2 drinks themselves, then had a drink that Yonkowski provided, and then she drank also at the VFW. Kickletter says they do not have the alcohol limit from the hospital. Kickletter says she and the other undercover agents went to the VFW because they suspected a drug transaction was going to take place that evening. Again, the drug cocaine. The original reason for the undercover operation, according to Kickletter. Browning asked Kickletter, has anyone else been arrested from the operation? And the answer was no, but he did state that they have a list of 10 names that they are investigating, and they state that investigation is ongoing. Browning got Kickletter to reveal that law enforcement waited too late to get any video surveillance from the Chop House that evening. The video is on a 7-day loop, and law enforcement didn't show up until day 8 after the alleged incident took place at the Chop House. Browning asked the judge to throw out the criminal attempt to commit rape charge because the state he's charged just because he asked the undercover agent to come to his house. Browning says it sounds bad, but maybe John Yonkowski just wanted to rob her or steal her debit card. She says they have no proof of criminal attempt to commit rape, but the judge ruled in favor of the state, but told Browning she did a nice job defending her client. But again, this was a preliminary hearing in a low bar, and just have to have probable cause to send it to the Superior Court. Again, she ruled in favor of the state, and again, now it moves on to Superior Court. Since Yonkowski's original arrest, more charges were just filed this past Friday against John Yonkowski, including manufacturing drugs, and a rape charge has been added to his original charges. Also, since his arrest, both his son, John Yonkowski Jr., and his son's wife, Susanna Joplin Yonkowski, have both been arrested. They've been charged with possession of drug-related objects, possession of Schedule II drug, possession of explosive devices, and possession of marijuana. Both have been released on bond at this time, and we continue to follow this story as it develops through the Superior Court. Also in court for her preliminary hearing on Monday was Courtney Sellers. She faces 5 counts of cruelty to children, 7 counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of first-degree arson, and 1 count of insurance fraud in the house fire that destroyed her home in Scriven, Georgia in July of this year. The home a complete loss. Criminal investigator with the Fire Marshal's Office, Christopher Bennett, testified in court Monday that after the fire, an insurance claim was filed by Courtney Sellers and she is the alone beneficiary of that insurance claim. The investigator testified that the 13-year-old stepdaughter, in an interview with officers, stated that she set the house on fire twice on the direction of Courtney Sellers. The first time the fire was put out by Courtney Sellers' husband, Tommy Sellers. The second time the house was completely burned to the ground. Teenager told investigators that Courtney sat the entire family down in the living room and told them that she was going to burn the house down for money to get out of debt. The young girl told investigators that Courtney told her to put paper in the electrical socket and set the paper on fire to make it look like an accident, and she says that's exactly what the teenager did. Sellers' attorney is public defender Jonathan Lockwood. He asked investigators how did they not charge the 13-year-old girl who set a house on fire with 5 people in it. He told the judge that he thought that was pretty odd to him. He asked the investigator if he had any experience interviewing children and why didn't law enforcement seek a trained professional to interview the child. Lockwood told the court that the girl was interviewed twice. The first interview, the girl denied being involved or knowing anything about the fire, but it was the second interview that has Courtney Sellers behind bars. Once again, the case moves on to Superior Court, and Courtney Sellers remains in jail at this time. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Other news, the Board of Education meets twice today, first at 5:30 for the third required public hearing on their proposed tax increase, and then at 6 p.m. for the monthly board meeting, which also has public participation on the agenda. Other items on the agenda, an update on the capital outlay projects, a weather safety discussion. The board will set the times of their meeting dates. Dr. Harrison will give a report on the achievement data, discussion about millage rate, and as always, an executive session to discuss personnel. All that taking place today at 5:30 and 6 at the Tech Center. Qualifying for City of Jesup, Odom, and Scriven elections taking place all this week. And on Monday, here's a list of all who qualified. In Jesup, the mayor, Ralph Hickox, is qualified, seeking another term as mayor. 3 council seats in Jesup are up for re-election. Those are seats 1, 4, and 5. In District 1, former Police Chief Perry Morgan is qualified. He'll be our special guest today on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. His first appearance as a candidate. Incumbent in District 1 is Shirley Armstrong. She has indicated she is not seeking re-election. In seat 4, incumbent Stanley Todd has stated he's not seeking another term. And on Monday, Jonathan McCullough qualified in District 4. In District 5, Joe Roddy's is filling out the remainder of Ray House's term. He was appointed by Governor Kemp for that position, but he's indicated he's not interested in the council seat in November. Former City Manager Mike Deal was qualified in District 5. He'll be our guest a week from today on next Tuesday's Butch and Bob Show. Those are the candidates who qualified in Jesup Monday. In Odom, the mayor and all 5 council seats are up for re-election. Mayor Greg Rozier did not qualify Monday, but no one qualified for council seats Monday. And in Scriven, 3 council seats are for re-election. On Monday, only Raquel Wright qualified to seek another term in Scriven. And we'll continue to follow the qualifying all this week. Butch and Bob Show is set for this week. Again, we've got Perry Morgan today. Tomorrow, we've got candidate for District Attorney John B. Johnson will join us as our special guest. Thursday, Athletic Director Justin McDonald to highlight this Friday night's pregame festivities as the school is recognizing the members of the 1959 state championship team. He's got all the details. And on Friday's Butch and Bob Show, we've got Attorney General Chris Carr joining us on the Butch and Bob Show as he's getting ready to run for governor next time it comes up, as Governor Kemp's term will come to an end. Again, that's Attorney General Chris Carr on Friday's Butch and Bob Show. Again, a candidate for governor in the next governor's election. We'll be back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes and news. A nice ceremony held Monday morning at City Hall with Jesup new Police Chief Chris Hamilton was sworn in. Great crowd on hand for the event. Hamilton thanked the chiefs that he says he learned from, including Chiefs Glenn Takaki, Doug Lewis, and Perry Morgan. Once again, Chris Hamilton, the full-time Jesup Police Chief, sworn in yesterday. Tickets still available for this Saturday night's Market at Midnight, a benefit for Hospice of South Georgia. It'll feature a band out of Florida called the 6-Piece Suits. They'll perform from 7:30 to midnight this Saturday, August 26th. Tickets $15 available that evening, but also in advance. Call Kylie McGregor at 912-588-0080. We'll have silent auction items, food vendors, dancing, all taking place Saturday night at the Wayne County Farmers Market. Again, Market at Midnight, benefit for Hospice of South Georgia. A book signing by native author Jimmy Hill, a Gardai native, is going to be in Jesup on Thursday at the Wayne County Library from 5 to 7 p.m. for a book signing. His book, They Inspired Me, My Journey from Gardai to Tomahawk Mountain, focuses on his life starting in Gardai, Georgia, and continuing to his career with a Fortune 500 company and beyond. Again, we'll have signed books available for sale. Cash, check, or card will be accepted, and that's taking place this Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Wayne County Library. And that's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.